Do do dee. Do do dee do. Do do dee do do. Do do do. Dee 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 da dee da 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 do 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 dee dee do. My CD is here. After a long period of time, my CD titled Insights, New Music for Trumpet and Piano is out. I was accompanied by my very good friend Rachel Kerr. We met at Northwestern. I was doing my master's, she was getting her doctorate. And this CD has quite the story behind it. I think most CD projects are a huge undertaking. You gotta plan the repertoire, you gotta find the space, you gotta find the right people, you gotta get everybody there at the same exact time, and then you record it, you mix it, you master it, you design the book, you do all of that kind of stuff, and it turns out to have this great product in the end and everybody's happy. And I'm not sure what other people's experiences have been like recording a CD, but this CD in particular was not a straight line start to finish, let's put it that way. Despite being really happy and really satisfied with this CD, all things said and done, all things considered, the story is not a very simple story, as I mentioned, and what this CD has meant to me over time has changed. At times it was gonna be everything. It was gonna start my solo career, and at times I just could not care less and I just wanted to get it over with. But now I'm really happy with this CD, and I'm happy to be in a place where I can just share it with everybody and say, I'm happy about this, I really wanna share it with you, and I don't need it to be anything more than it is. Because the CD took 9 years to complete, I wanted to make this video to kind of walk through the years of winning Ellsworth Smith and then recording the CD and a few other times to sort of just show you how long it took and what was going on in my life at the times, at these times that I'm gonna mention. And yeah, I hope this is an interesting story for you to listen to, the origin of the CD. So we are going to start in 2012. Back in 2012, I was just finishing up my graduate work at Northwestern University. I remember I was one of 2 candidates for the principal trumpet position with the Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra. Super excited, super green, all of my dreams were coming true, and I was gonna possibly be a principal trumpet in a major orchestra. And so I played my trial weeks in May of 2012. And then because Indianapolis went on a lockout right after that in September, the other candidate who was supposed to play in October of 2012, it actually got moved to April of 2013. So I had 11 months between the time I played and between the time that he played. It's a very, very long time. And so I was looking for things to do to occupy my time. My undergraduate teacher, Michael Anderson, recommended that I should try to compete in the 2012 Ellsworth Smith trumpet competition. For those that don't know, it's a big international trumpet competition. It's a big prize. It was $10,000 for the prize, and as we know, I got some money for a CD release as well. Now, it's interesting timing with this lockout and with the other candidate playing in April, because if I would have just started the job in September of 2012, like normal, hypothetically, if I was the only candidate, or if we would have done things quicker, I probably wouldn't have done Ellsworth Smith. I probably would have been focused on the job and trying to get ready for it and making sure that things were all set to go and that I was gonna be able to be like professional and all that kind of stuff. So the fact that I was able to compete in this at all is kind of a circumstantial thing, but obviously I would say it worked out pretty well for me. One interesting thing to note from this time is the night before the final round, I was texting with my friend Jamie Whitmarsh, who some of you may know. And I was telling Jamie that if I won the competition, one of the things you won was the ability to do a recital at the following ITG conference. So it was in 2013 in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I told him if I won this competition, I would perform a piece of his on that recital. That piece is called Insights, and it's actually the title of my CD. So it's kind of interesting how this piece has followed me throughout my career, and I was really, really excited not only to be able to perform that piece at ITG, but to be able to record it as well. As I mentioned before, the prize for this was $10,000, and I also got to perform that recital at the 2013 ITG conference in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and then I got a grant from MSR Records to be able to release a CD on their label, and so the next step was to figure out, how am I gonna record a CD? From the time I won the competition to the time I recorded the CD was 4 full years, from August 2012 to August 2016. In that time, a lot of life changes had taken place. I had started my job in Indianapolis, and I had not gotten tenure with Indianapolis. I started my job with Alabama, and then I got tenure with Alabama. I ended up breaking up with the woman I was engaged to when in Indianapolis, and I was trying to find my footing as who I was in Alabama in this whole new life experience after things kind of went crazy. In August 2016, we were able to get Rachel Kerr from Canada. We flew her down from Canada, and we recorded the CD at Oklahoma City University in one of the rehearsal halls. Michael Anderson, as I mentioned before, was the producer for the album, and Jamie Wynn Whitmarsh, was the recording engineer and the mixing engineer for the CD project. If I remember correctly, we recorded from about 10 a.m. to maybe 4 or 5 p.m. We would have a lunch break and we would take breaks when needed, but we did that schedule for 5 full days. And then I remember playing a recital of all of the music at the end of that recording time for the students at Oklahoma City University and whoever happened to be around. As far as I know, for a recording, it was pretty straightforward. We just kept doing the takes until we got the takes we wanted. And the only thing I remember of note was preparing for the CD itself. Preparing for the recording, I was at home in Alabama practicing a lot, trying to get in shape and ready to play these hours and hours of recording it was gonna take, and I ended up just playing so much that things started to get worse and worse in my playing, and I was kind of freaking out. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna be able to record this. I called Michael Anderson and talked to him. I was like, look man, things are going crazy right now. I can't really play the trumpet. Everything is hard. What do I do? And he was like, why don't you just take a few days off and then come and then play? And so that's what I did. I took, I think, 2 days off before I came to OCU to record. Everything was great. So some time off was actually just what I needed. Rather than hammering it over and over and over again, I just needed to trust my preparation and get after it, take some rest, recuperate, and get ready to mentally get prepared for that recording. After that, the next step was basically to sit back and let Jamie Whitmarsh mix the CD together and get it ready so we could send it off for mastering. I just had no idea it was gonna take another 2 years to get that done. Now, to be fair to Jamie, at the time that he recorded the CD and began to edit it, he was also beginning to teach at Oklahoma City University, and so he had 3 classes, percussion ensemble, other lessons. He was also working with marching bands at local high schools. He had began subbing with the Oklahoma City Philharmonic, and then on top of that, even just with the project itself for our CD, he was sending us 10-second clips, like 7 different versions of it, so that we could figure out even what we wanted the CD to sound like, and that just took time to go back and forth to find some time for all of us to do it. And so this is why it took 2 years. He's just a really busy guy, so I didn't want to throw him under the bus, but it's something we like to joke about. The problem with taking that length of time is my time in Alabama became more difficult. There was some sort of strife with some people in the organization, and I started to become disillusioned with the trumpet as a whole. I remember this is around the time I really started to pick up working out, and so I was fantasizing about becoming a personal trainer, and I was sort of fantasizing about what it would be like to just sort of leave the orchestra or leave the trumpet because I was just unhappy at that time. If you throw in there that Kathleen Costello, my wife, and I had just gotten married at that point, so now I'm a husband and a father. I've been doing it for a while, but this is something that's incredibly important to me. So all of these things swirling around, I kind of didn't care about the CD at all. But in 2018, in August, I went to Oklahoma City to meet with Jamie, and we wanted to go through the CD and make sure all the edits were good, make sure that we were happy with all the takes, basically some last minute touch-ups before I sent the CD away to have it mastered. I don't really have much more to say about this period. This sort of feeling that I just wanted to get the CD project over with was pretty much all that was on my mind. I don't have much evidence in the way of pictures or anything of my time there for this particular trip, but I do have what I think is a really funny Snapchat story. This is the only evidence I have, so I thought I'd share it with you because I think it's pretty funny. After that trip, everything was basically ready to go. Jamie was finished with his end of the CD project, so we reached out to John Parks, one of his former teachers at Florida State University. He's done a lot of really great work on mastering albums, and he agreed to master my album, and so that was the next step, to send the CD to him and let him work. This next part of the video is gonna span from 2019 to 2021. It's basically from mastering to the completion of the CD. Somehow, I'm not sure why, but in August of 2018, we finished the CD itself, but it took me until April of 2019 to actually contact Parks and send him the CD for him to master. Don't know why it took me that long, but it did. Parks worked on the CD and he got it done in very quick time. I was really happy with the CD, and then I sent that CD to Rob Laporta at MSR Records. Quick note here, Rob was amazing to work with. I just cannot thank him enough for his advice and his expertise and just his ability to say, this is what we're gonna do, this is how it's gonna get done, this is pretty normal, everything is cool. Thank you so much, Rob, I appreciate it. So in November of 2019, I sent Rob a message saying the CD was finished, and we started to talk about book design, and I started writing things for the booklet, and I sent him headshots, and we made sure we had biographies, and everything was in the right spot, and we had composer pictures and all those kinds of things. So in December of 2019, I got an email from Rob that said, I found sort of what sounds like a trail off or sort of a fade out from a previous track right at the beginning of the CD, and I don't think that's supposed to be there. Can you take a look at it and get it fixed? I reached out to Parks and asked him if he knew what it was. He figured it out right away. It was just some sort of artifact that happened when the files were exported. It's no big deal, he fixed it right away. Just to make sure though, Jamie and I wanted to make sure we went through all 80 minutes of music again, just to make sure there weren't any other small things that we somehow may have missed. So we did all of that. And then after we had done that, we sent the files back to Parks so he could remaster everything and we would be good to go. Unfortunately, at exactly this time, that's when COVID-19 hit. So Parks had left for spring break and he never went back. And the files just sat on his computer for months until the beginning or so of June 2020, where he could actually get back to school, he could master the disc, and he could send it back to Rob, and we could actually move forward with the process. It was at that point that I reached out to Rob to let him know that we were ready to move forward. We have a spotless CD, everything is good to go, but COVID-19 hit Rob too as well. So it wasn't until about August of 2020 when he reached out to me saying they were getting back to normal operations and we could start moving forward with the CD again. In October of 2020, he sent me a rough draft of the booklet and said, let me know if you want to change anything. I did a few small edits here and there to tighten up some of the language, but just make sure you're good with it. And as I read through it, I was like, who wrote this? What is this booklet? I remember I wrote this booklet previously. I have my notes here. The book that I had to write before was in November of 2019, and now we're talking October of 2020. So I basically rewrote the booklet, and Rob had also sent me the contract for my CD at the exact same time. A few months passed, and December of 2020 happened, and I actually sent back the contract. So I guess it took me 2 months to send the contract for some reason that I have no idea why. And finally, in January of 2021, the CD was finally finished. Rob sent me a final proof of the booklet design. Everything looked great. We knew the CD sounded great, and he was saying that you gotta pay for it and then we'll ship it and everything will be great. So early January 2021, that happened. I received the CDs on January 31st, 2021, and now they are available on my website for purchase. I would really appreciate it if you would check that out, and if you're interested in the CD itself, go ahead and purchase one there. I hope this story of how the CD came to be was enjoyable for you to listen to. It's kind of crazy to think back 9 years ago, I had won the Ellsworth Smith trumpet competition, and I was like, I'm gonna become a great trumpet soloist. And then all of this stuff happened in between, and all of these delays and just ineptitude on my part. I'll own it, that's fine, I'm not perfect. But now having the CD, I feel instead of it launching a solo career, which who knows, maybe it could happen. But more of what it means to me is I'm just proud of the effort that was put into this. It's something that I think was the very best of what I was capable of in 2016, but I still think it's beautiful music to listen to. I did my absolute best at that time, and I just really, really hope that you enjoy listening to the CD and that you're able to share it with others, and that it's just able to bring you, like I said, some joy. All right, everybody, that's gonna be all for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, make sure you like the video, and don't forget to subscribe if you wanna see more content that I produce on this channel. If you have any questions about anything, as always, you can click the link down below for a free 30-minute call where we can talk over Zoom and I can answer any questions you may have. It's a joy of mine to be able to help people in whatever capacity I can. And so if that's something you're interested in, click the link down below and let's chat. Thanks so much for watching the video. Always remember, stay strong, be kind to yourself, never stop growing, and we'll see you in the next video.